You might think that being born in the West is a curse. Westerners are just greedy and selfish, and our governments suck, and racism, and yada yada yada. I'd like to politely tell you to shut your frickin' pie hole. Being born in the West was the best thing that ever happened to you, and I'll tell you why in this video. If you were born in the West, maybe you grew up in a beautiful, pristine, natural environment like this one. Or maybe a nice, clean little neighborhood with lots of birds singing, trees, and happy squirrels hunting for acorns, like this one. Maybe you grew up in an area where you had lots of access to magnificent buildings with beautiful architecture and historical significance, like these. Or maybe you didn't have any of that, and you grew up in a big nasty city, like this one. But your environment was probably still pretty clean, at least cleaner than this.
Behind me here is a pile of trash on the floor and a bunch of crows around it. These are bags of shit here and just trash everywhere.
Millions of people are born, live their lives, and die in this type of filth. They haven't been taught the value of living life in a clean environment. And it's not because they're poor, it's because they're dirty. Poor and dirty are not the same thing. No money gets invested by their governments to educate people on things like keeping public spaces clean, or the importance of hygiene for disease prevention. Keeping public spaces clean is a relatively new idea in the grand scheme of world history. And unfortunately, many countries just still haven't caught on. Actually, the people don't even mind the trash and filth because they're used to it, never having lived any other way. You would think that someone moving to a new environment where everything is clean and beautiful would make a difference, but it doesn't. The mentality persists because it's ingrained in childhood. Take a look at post-immigration London.
This road is in one of the crowded London, Covent Garden Area's messy and dirty street, where trash is thrown not only by immigrants, but also by people from original British whites too.
The non-hygienic practices of the new arrivals is actually changing the overall cultural aesthetic of the entire place. I'm sure pro-immigration people thought it would be the other way around, but obviously they were wrong. The unsightly litter in London is just one sparkling example of trash heaps building up in multiple Western cities around the world, and unfortunately, it's just the beginning. It all looks so yummy. I don't know where to begin.
This is how they package one pickled vegetable product. China's food safety seems non-existent, with the chili powder mix on the ground straight into the bucket.
Maybe somebody should just take a piss on it, make it really sterile.
Or when they do talk about food safety, it's the wrong kind of safety. This BMW's front hood is filled with ramen noodles, and they even got 2 pieces of sausage on there too.
I don't know whether to be impressed by the innovative use of the car, or disgusted that someone might actually eat the result of that at some point.
गरम गरम करिए भाई साहब, प्लेट दूं?
भर के देना, निकाला देता हूं, जरा रुकिए।
बस लीजिए, रोटी अलग रख दी है।
धन्यवाद भाई।
Foot curry with a side of roti. Got that good foot stank.
When you don't follow basic food safety rules, you could be putting yourself and others in danger. Reduce the risk of food poisoning with our 4 golden rules.
Videos like this one probably annoyed the hell out of you when you were a kid, but they taught you how to not poison people when you prepare food for them, and that's valuable. That idea is a Western idea. Clean food makes for longer lifespans and a better quality of life altogether. It's hard to have fun when you're constantly barfing and shitting yourself. Or maybe you'd prefer some of this guy's foot curry.
Human rights is, geez, that's a good question.
Human rights. Oh, that's a tough one.
Wow.
I don't even know how to give that a definition.
I would probably have to do a little bit of homework or something.
Any right that I think just as a normal, human,
Looks like most people in the West have no idea what human rights are anymore. Maybe because we've spent so much of our lives having them that we don't even notice how valuable they are anymore.
Human rights are the rights you have simply because you're human.
Human rights are another fantastic idea that evolved out of Western culture. Previous cultures came up with the idea of universal human rights every once in a while throughout history, but no culture was ever able to actually codify human rights into law. Only the very wealthy, or those of noble blood, royalty and such, had guaranteed human rights, guaranteed by their power and influence. Everyone else, for all intents and purposes, were just slaves to be used for the benefit of the upper classes. And as for upward mobility, dream on. Chances are, if you were born a slave, you died a slave. This was the norm in the majority of societies, with no end in sight, until 1215, when the Magna Carta was signed. Since then, Westerners have continued to push forward with the ideas laid out in the Magna Carta and refine the ways in which the law can be used to protect civil liberties for the general public. The idea of universal human rights has become a part of our culture as Westerners. Not so in other societies. Individuals in cultures outside of the West fight for their rights, but their own cultures frequently quash their attempts. People in the West also have the right to peaceful protest. We are ready, you are here! We are rising, we are here! We are ready, you are here! We are rising, we are here! We're free to gather in very large numbers and tell our fucked up governments how we feel about the fucked up shit that they do, as long as we don't get violent, which of course we frequently do. Even when we do get violent, it's very seldom that a protester ends up dead, seriously injured, or disappeared, never to be seen again. Believe me, you'll miss that freedom when it's gone. Try that peaceful protest shit outside of the West. That guy wasn't even being violent. I think he was just taking a walk. In some countries, they don't bother to lay hands on you. This guy made a big mistake.
They're hoping to stop developers from knocking down trees. Protesters using water cannons and tear gas to disperse the crowds. Watch out, this poor guy's about to get knocked down.
Unfortunately, the West is becoming more and more like the Third World because it's taking on the attitudes of the Third World. The mentality that brought forth great progress and innovation in the West is being exchanged for tribalistic, clan-obsessed, unevolved behaviors that are leading Western societies backwards culturally. The Western countries are increasingly electing politicians that think like this.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white man.
Instead of people of substance that think like this.
Liberty is too precious a thing to be buried in books, Miss Saunders. Men should hold it up in front of them every single day of their lives and say, I'm free to think and to speak. My ancestors couldn't, I can. And my children will.
You're flushing your own countries down the toilet through your political, economic, and cultural ignorance.
Who, me?
Yes, you. So the next time you feel ashamed of being from the West, go to the airport and fly to the nearest third world country. Order some bacteria and parasite-laden takeaway food. Throw the packaging on the street when you're done. And then find a protest to join in so you can get a good ass whooping. Or get thrown in jail, never to be seen again. I don't know about you, but I feel all warm and fuzzy just thinking about it.